but it speaks to what you said in regards to grounding. If you've got good grounding, you know, and you can create a bubble, then those things are good for you. Do you know what I mean?
I think it goes back to there's a saying how like more money, getting money makes you more of what you already are.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're a prick before and you get a lot of money, you're gonna be a prick still. It's not the money that's making you a prick. You're just a prick to start off.
Yeah, 100%. Sorry, you've been here too long now, haven't you? Okay, cool. Me, you, and the driver, we gotta get this photo together. We gotta get this selfie. Oh, open it. Have you got a bag? A bag for fucking what? You grocery shopping or something? You doubling up on these bags? I was like, wow, women are incredible. I've been out here every single weekend since I've been doing this, picking up people who have had amazing nights. Off, mum, I'm sleeping. I'm staying here. Leave me alone. I mean, I've always said this anyway, that this thing has killed me, but I can see I've aged. I look at my beard, mad grey hairs. It is mad. Like what you've done is you've made me want to stay out maybe a little bit longer. Do you know what I mean? So I need to stay out longer, but like what you said has made me want to stay out maybe a little bit longer. So like, I fucking forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, it's talking about cutting people down to size, which is really really interesting. But what were my thoughts? My thoughts today were, yeah, essentially that like I don't want my children to go down the same road and path that I've gone down. And that's not to say that, I don't know, obviously, sorry, by going to boarding school, I'm assuming you come from a good background, if that makes any sense, all right? Yeah. But like, I've sat here and I've had conversations with friends and stuff like that before, and not to say that they would not want their child to go to private school, but there have been different opinions. And my thoughts now, after looking at the content last night, is, nah, man, like, I want my children to have the best start possible. And actually, again, some of my thoughts were that, so I just wanted to clear, some of my thoughts were that actually, and it's not to speak bad on this generation, I just think we're living in a day and time where actually I don't want my children to be like some of these children.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know, so no, I can relate to no, when I mean relate, I can probably chill and chat and all that, but the general feel around, forget the kids actually, the general feel around the country, the city, etc, etc. Actually, I don't want my kids to be anything like some of you lot. Do you know, I want my children to have a great, well, certainly a good head start. And so previously, some of the ideas and notions that I've had is, despite whether I had the money or not, I'd want my child to go to a state school so they had that grounding. But like, you know, not that I'm a bad, I like to say I'm a good person, you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, thinking, no, like, the word bubble, as I mentioned before, she said bubble, and I sat there and I thought to myself, no, like life is about like your environment, as you're talking about. You went to boarding school and it assisted you in terms of being around people who had done certain and different things and assisted you in coming here and going to Liverpool, you know, and just having a better start than you would have if you did otherwise.
Yeah, my biggest thing, I think the biggest misconception about sending kids to private schools and all this kind of stuff is, I think the thing about being in a bubble is true. In a sense, when you're in a boarding school, kind of everyone who's there, you kind of similar backgrounds. You don't see the world outside of your group or collective at the school.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of the type of person you become, I think that foundation is laid in you before you even get to boarding school. So the type of person you're going to be, I think that's set in stone to a degree before you even get to boarding school.
Cool.
So if your parents or whoever's raised you has kind of instilled in you good morals, good values, and exposed you to the rest of the world and how the reality of the world, when you do go into boarding school in these spaces where there's more affluent people and it's kind of a
understand.
It doesn't warp your perspective of life. It's still, you still keep that holistic view of what life really is.
Totally understand. That makes a lot of sense, and I think that's really interesting because I think, so my thoughts are jumping around, like just because I know I like this type of topic, right, and conversation. So the reason why I like that is because you could be a really, really nice person at heart and be outside in this world here today and be taken advantage of. Whereas if you went to a boarding school, all right, where the environment might be a little bit different, all right, and I'm actually painting a bad picture of what's going on outside, because there's good and bad things going on outside. So I'm looking at the negatives of outside just in general. Okay, so you could be outside and not going to a boarding school or private school and potentially be taken advantage of, whereas with those qualities in a good environment that you've paid for in a boarding school, it will accentuate those qualities. Do you know what I'm saying? And vice versa, by the way. Do you know what I mean? You could be your child could be bad in some respect and start moving mad when he goes to boarding school. I totally understand that. Do you know what I mean? But it speaks to what you said in regards to grounding. If you got good grounding, you know, and you can create a bubble, then those things are good for you. Do you know what I mean?
I think it goes back to there's a saying how like more money, getting money makes you more of what you already are.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're a prick before and you get a lot of money, you're gonna be a prick still. It's not the money that's making you a prick. You're just a prick to start off.
Yeah, 100%. Sorry, you've been here too long now, haven't you? Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I think it's the same thing with boarding school as well. Like, I think it just the boarding school environment just it exacerbates whatever personality and makeup you have as a person. So if you're a good person going into it, I think it pushes you to be more of a good person, and if you weren't, it's going to push more of that out of you as well. So it has its ups and its downs, of course, like anything else in life, but I think for the most part, as long as before you go into an experience like boarding school, the foundation's been laid of the kind of person you'd want your child to be, I think you're golden from there.
Cool. And what were the differences between yours and your sister's? Yeah, I think I do that. Yours and your sister's experience going to boarding school. Because the reason why I say that is because you said you went in at 14, whereas when I was speaking with this woman, she said one of her children, her youngest now I believe, went in at 8, whereas the others, I think they might have went in maybe a little bit later.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, like you might have been cool, whereas like yours, I don't know, your siblings, if they went earlier, they might have struggled with it. And also you said you were there for like a month and a half, and then mind you, when you're 14 it's a little bit different, but I don't want to talk on your experience, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so basically with my sister, she loved her boarding school experience. So my sister's my half sister, so my mom got divorced and then married my dad and then had me.
Cool.
So she enjoyed her boarding school experience, and I think the same benefits I've got out of boarding school, the independence and learning to look after myself and being able to push myself outside my comfort zone, I see a lot of that in my sister as well, and I think that's attributed to her going to boarding school as well. So I think we're both lucky in that regard. It kind of we were able to get a lot of the benefits from boarding school. But yeah, I think as a whole, comparing my sister's experience to my experience, my sister went to boarding school around the same time I did, like 14, 15. So we kind of had similar experiences, even though her boarding school like experience, so my sister's a lot older than me, so things were a bit more strict. There was more hierarchical and all these kind of things, and corporal punishment vibes and all that kind of stuff. And a few of those things were integrated into my experience as well, but not at the same degree. But,
Cool. Sorry, I know because I'm worried. Okay, cool. So you said you're definitely going to go back to South Africa, given the opportunity, and if you're successful here, you'll definitely go back.
Yeah.
Cool. And I think my question is, so would you like, if you had the finances, would you send your children to boarding school?
Yeah, I would.
And I know you probably said this, but in a nutshell, and I guess in bullet point form, why would you send them there?
The reason that I'd send my kids to boarding school, the first one being the independence you gain and being able to stand on your own 2 feet.
Did you miss your parents? That's another thing as well.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
okay.
A lot. But yeah, it builds you to withstand a lot. You get a lot of grit as well, like a lot of resilience throughout your boarding school experience.
Cool.
Like being away from family, you kind of learn to deal with those hard environments and hard situations. And then also the networking aspect of it, being exposed to different people from different backgrounds.
And again, I know you said you're 23, but like, what do you want to do? Sorry.
Oh, so I want to go into consulting,
What type of consulting?
management consulting.
Okay, and what kind of management? Sorry, breaking that down again.
So actually, it was management consulting and strategy consulting.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I'd done a few things in uni centered around strategy and management consulting. So I think either or of the two is something I'd be interested.
Because I think what my question was going to be is like, how much would you say maybe exponentially, does it support the idea that you'll be successful by going to boarding school? You might not know because actually you've not even gone through that journey.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
You're not going through. I mean, you're not going through the journey. Doesn't mean you don't have experience or you can't have an opinion in it. I guess like I'm just thinking out loud. These are my thoughts. I actually made a voice note on it. I was thinking about it. Do you know what I mean? As to okay, cool. Like the bubble thing, really interesting. That was it. Someone cut me up today, and I was like, "Raw, like this is just normal day to day. Like humans don't even care, don't even care." Like, and I was like, I can't. I like it just threw my mind. It said, you know what? I don't want to raise my children right where people don't like. The person didn't need to do what he was doing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, and it's only little car things, but it tweaked my mind. I was like, "Raw, like." This woman said bubble, and I was like, do you know what? Actually, I think I might want to keep my child in a bubble. But also, I had a conversation with a friend last week. There's quite a few things, and he was saying he wouldn't like his child. His child is in a bit of a bubble. They don't go to state school, but it was like, no. Sometimes go and make these mistakes. Go fall, bump your head, or you don't want to listen. You're gonna go feel. You're gonna learn. Do you know what I mean? And I agree and I disagree, and I agreed at the time, but I sat there and I thought, nah, man, actually, with the wickedness and the way people are moving morally at the moment, I probably do need to create bubbles to support my children.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing about boarding school, now that I think about it, is it's a controlled environment where they give you the freedom to make all the mistakes that you need to make to build up your character. Nice. So I think that's one of the biggest, like being at home, you have your parents looking over your shoulder.
100%.
You can't explore certain things. You can't make certain mistakes that you kind of need to make to grow into the person you want to be one day. So I think boarding school is like a controlled environment where they push you to be wild, do what you do, make your mistakes, learn from them, and then progress as a person. Really.
Cool. Well, much appreciated. I got to catch this person now.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. No worries.